Welcome to the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast. This is where Matt shares all his ideas on how to be happier, more successful, and enjoy life to the fullest. Please go to mattogradycoaching.com and thelivinggratitudebook.com to learn more and receive your free micro-coaching session with Matt.
Welcome to the Matt O'Grady Coaching Podcast, mattogradycoaching.com. Well, I'm super excited because I haven't gotten a chance to do one of these in a while, and they're one of my favorites to do. You guys seem to love it. We're getting thousands and thousands of downloads on these, specifically these Abraham 101. So thanks for coming back to continue to listen to this. We're getting lots of new listeners based on this new series. We've only done a handful of them, and I'd say we're easily in the tens of thousands of downloads on these. I think we started them in January, right? Maybe late fall, can't remember. But regardless, I'm excited about today's topic because it really is so simple, so easy, and so important to remember. And every coaching client that I have, we get to this point where we talk about this specifically because spirituality, self-development, those areas of life seem to have a lot of confusion. And that's one of the main reasons this podcast was started, although the same reasons aren't the reasons that it continues. So this started off very much as really just an exploration. And what it's turned into 6+ years later, hey, happy anniversary last March. We didn't acknowledge it. 6 years of Matt being here on the old podcast. Pretty sweet. I think we have broken 400 recorded episodes. Super proud of that. It's a cool number, 400. Sounds substantial. But anyway, I think it's so important to focus on this topic of allowing. And before we get into it, I want to set it up. I think you're going to be really surprised, as everybody seems to be. Everyone that I've ever brought this up to, and I know the feeling because for me it was very similar. You're kind of like surprised. Wait, is it really that simple? Is it really that easy? Is that really what my focus needs to be? And as often is the case for me in the Abraham work, a quote or something I read or something I listened to sparks a podcast topic to dive deeper. Because Abraham, as most of the great teachers, shares at times very simple but extremely powerful wisdom in one sentence, and then goes in a whole other important direction with the person they're working with. But I feel like, hey, I want to hear more about that. I want to talk more about that. I want to work with my clients and have my podcast community explore this topic more specifically. And today it's on allowing. And the quote that inspired me is this: we would like to leave you with this very clear knowing that we hold. You are just a few laughs away from letting a whole lot of good stuff in. You're just a few kisses away from letting a whole lot of good stuff in. You were just a little bit of relief from letting a whole lot of good stuff in. Abraham, excerpted from North Los Angeles, California, on March 5th, 2005. Our love, Esther and Abraham and Jerry. And this is the free newsletter quote. It's essentially just a quote newsletter from Abraham that gets sent out. I believe it's daily. And anyone can sign up for it, abraham-hicks.com. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. As many of my clients know, I'm always forwarding these quotes over, and accentuating aspects that we're working on during our coaching sessions, and making sure that, they realize what we're working on, what we're diving really deep on, is here's the information. Here's a whole lot of wisdom that we should be implementing in our lives. And it's no different. With this quote, we can often get so caught up in trying to complicate what is simple. And in the beginning, I think it's really understandable because we're new to something, we need to build a foundation and a fertile ground for us to really understand how all of the pieces come together, how everything fits together, what that means for daily practices and daily life, and doing visualizations and exercises and, going deep, exploring our emotions and being aware of our emotions and learning what living in the present moment really means, and that's a lifetime journey. It's not something you're going to figure out in 30 seconds or overnight in this social media world that we live in. Everything is like this instant gratification kind of mindset. However, some of the best things that are available take a little bit of time, a little bit of attention, and then we can go deep with something rather than just get the surface bit, I'm not interested in the Wikipedia version of enlightenment because I know that's just going to be on the surface. There's always many depths to explore and to go on the journey through as we do this. However, sometimes it's so simple and so easy that we can forget it. And it's very similar. You guys know how I feel about gratitude and appreciation. And it's kind of in that category of, we almost don't do it because it just seems so simple. Can it really help that much if I'm grateful? Hello? Yes, it can. If I'm just going around appreciating everything, I'm going to miss all the problems that I'm dealing with. Well, there is, what do we call the wiki wick, or, there is the rub, okay? If you're focused on the problems, you're going to get more problems. Geez. So if you're focused on what feels good, if you're focused on what makes you laugh, you're focused on the kiss and the hug, and the sweetness, the simple joys in your life. And I love to go back to just even simpler, the breath itself. For any of you meditators out there, there's just a simple beauty associated with something that goes on 24/7, our whole lives, from the moment we take our first breath until we take our last. 50,000 times a day, we are awake to potentially experience the moments that are available to us. And the breath is always there, sustaining us, keeping us alive. Just hold your breath for 30 seconds, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And if you've never tried it, I'm serious. I mean, if you have a health issue or whatever, obviously be careful. Don't do this while you're driving. But in all seriousness, have you ever held your breath and tried to extend it even just a few seconds longer than what's comfortable? Coming from a martial arts background, I've been choked out several times, so I know what it's like to feel your literal life passing before your eyes, your consciousness. And let me tell you, it's pretty intense. So I highly suggest going the path of just holding your own breath, just as an experiment. If you hold it for 10 seconds, you can often just get a sense of what it feels like. You don't even have to get close to 30 seconds for most people. There is so much in our lives to be grateful for. There are so many low-hanging fruit pieces, like the hugs and the kisses and the relief that Abraham talks about in this quote. However, we're often focused on too many complicated, wishing it was different kind of philosophies that don't lead us where we want to be, that we miss out. every day on some of the simplest joys of life. And I believe that's what Abraham's trying to point out here. We make it too hard to allow. All you have to do is release the resistance. But you have to be focused on that. You have to direct your attention towards that. You have to bring yourself back to it time after time, hour after hour, day after day. I know that may feel hard at first, but the truth is, it is not hard. It takes some practice, like anything else in life. So as you get better at focusing on what feels good and focusing on what you want and focusing on love instead of hate, focusing on relief instead of frustration, focusing on joy instead of stress and what's wrong, after a while, you start to realize how crazy you've been living. You've been living the Fox News version of life. And I'll tell you right now, that is a path to destruction. Please don't do it. And hey, if you need your news, okay, but, consider the source, right? Literally. What is the source of your life? Is it simple, divine beauty? Or is it everything that's wrong in the world, problems you have in your own personal life, every problem that you have in all your relationships and everything to do with your work, your money situation, and your health? What's working? What feels good? What is the simplest and easiest, lowest hanging fruit thing in your life right now that you can appreciate? And this isn't theoretical. I'm asking you to do this in this moment with me right now. It doesn't matter if you're running or walking or driving, or if you're listening to this, cleaning your house. I have some podcast listeners that are like, you're my favorite thing to have in the background is cleaning, because I forget that I'm cleaning and I really enjoy what you're talking about. And hey, whatever works, man. And I know there's a lot of people who drive and listen, and I know there's a lot of people who jog or work out and listen. Thank you all to every single person who listens and who shares and likes to spread the good news about what's possible for happiness and joy in this life. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. So back to the focus here, allowing. Just to understand what allowing is, right? We've all felt it. We've all felt that shift when we begin to reach for a better feeling thought. We just take a break from the stress and from the worry and the anxiety and the problems, and we start to move in a different direction. And it may feel a little resistance at first because it's new or it's different, or we've built a lot of momentum in the other direction, but it's okay. They're just thoughts. They're just patterns. They're just, decades of patterns that we can begin shifting now. Right now. A way to live in the moment is to become aware of what you're thinking and feeling and step back from it just quickly and say, how does this feel to me? Does this feel like I'm pointed in the right direction for my life? And if you're not, go making the list and start blogging about everything that's wrong, tweeting and Instagramming and Facebooking everything that's wrong, okay? No, that is not the path. When you become aware of what you don't like, gently, lovingly begin to shift yourself towards what feels better. And some people say, I don't know what to think about. Well, don't you have a pastime? Don't you have a person that you like? Don't you have music that you like? Don't you have all sorts of things in your life that you like? All sorts of blessings that are absolutely inherent, like your breath? How about your senses? My God, have you ever taken the time to really be grateful for sight, hearing, taste, smell, and and touch. I mean, it's how we interact with the world. These are really, really beautiful gifts that most of us have in fully functioning, healthy, harmonious order in our lives. Sure, I'm sure there's some of you, I know we have some people listen to the podcast who don't have all of those senses. But guess what? You have the others. And don't you appreciate those maybe even so much more? You know, I've had the pleasure of developing some relationships with people who are disabled. A lot of you guys know I'm a disabled veteran, and, just people in general, maybe they're not, disabled veterans, but they have some sort of physical issue that, is unique, that, most people don't have. And I find that most of the people I've gotten close to, they appreciate life more than kind of the normal, quote-unquote, normal, healthy person, right? Because some aspect of their life has been taken away, they appreciate all the others that much more. And this is where contrast often equals to benefits. I mean, it always equals to benefits, but sometimes we're able to realize those benefits, right? There's a big difference. They're always there. In every painful situation, there's tremendous opportunity. It is up to us to choose that opportunity. It may not be overnight. It could be years down the road, but the opportunity will always be there. And if we have that perspective, our life changes. If we reach for simple, allowing opportunities, our lives change. How often do you laugh out loud, hard? Not just smile or have a quick, kind of like, oh, that's cute or whatever. I mean, really laugh out loud. I'll tell you, I try to do it every day, multiple times a day if I can. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes, quite there either. But I find other ways to feel in the vortex, other ways to be allowing. There's so many ways to do it. You just have to choose some and continue to follow through on them. I hope you enjoyed this. MattO'GradyCoaching.com. Talk to you soon. Bye. Soon. Bye. Soon.